Hey guys, what's up? Happy Tuesday night. Welcome to Deep in the Plus. I'm your host, Rob Whiteside. Tonight, we are going to go and start the holiday reviews. This is going to be the long chain of holiday reviews we're going to do leading up till Christmas. And we're going to start with a 1990 classic, Home Alone. And I asked about Home Alone, and Desi raised her hand and said, I got to be on that one. So welcome, Desi. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about the second best movie we're talking about on Deep in the Plus this week.
Is this because we dropped Brink during the marathon? Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
Yeah, so if anybody missed it, we finally did the review of Brink. So y'all stop coming at me about Brink. We've done that one. It's happened. If you go to our channel, which is unplanneddowntime.com, which is where hopefully you found this show tonight, you can see down in here we've uploaded it. We can't stay in line discussing Brink. That was not my title. I think that Kevin.
Pretty good title.
I think that Kevin came up with that one, Kevin Lake. So thank you, Kevin, for doing that and for posting it. So if you guys didn't get a chance to watch it during the marathon show, Desi's dream came true, and we reviewed Brink, so give that a watch. If you're new to this show, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. It helps us out a lot. But tonight, we're talking about Home Alone, and this is the 1990 Home Alone, not the new one, but the original with Macaulay Culkin. And, you know, it feels weird because this is a 20th Century Fox movie, and it always has been. And I think that, like, for generations moving forward, they'll kind of see this as a Disney movie, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, when The Nightmare Before Christmas came out, I think that they purposely did not want the Disney name associated with it because they weren't sure how it was going to be taken. And then after it was taken well, they're like, oh yes, we can definitely put the Disney name on this. So I think, you know, obviously they didn't own Fox before, so they couldn't just take Home Alone. But I think that this is a natural fit for them.
And you know what? Just starting out talking about this, I love the logo. I'm a graphic designer, and I fancy myself as one, and I really like how clean that logo is. They used it for all the following iterations of Home Alone, but I think that's a pretty cool thing. This is a very special movie because it was a John Hughes movie. John Hughes, big into the late 80s, 90s with all the movies he did, Breakfast Club, the 16 Candles, all that stuff was John Hughes. Unfortunately, John Hughes has passed away. And it was directed by Chris Columbus, and Chris Columbus is also known famously for directing the first Harry Potter movie. And I feel like the music in this one kind of reminded me a little bit of that Sorcerer's Stone music at some points, because also the music is done by John Williams. So these are a lot of great talents that came together to do this first Home Alone movie. When you saw this for the first time, I'm guessing it wasn't in 1990 in the theater, or was it?
It actually might have been. I am a child of the 90s. I was born in the 80s, but I would say that most of my developmental years and stuff that I remember growing up was in the 90s. So I don't know if I saw it in the theaters, but I definitely got it on VHS like as soon as it came out, and was a classic for me growing up for sure.
And you're a super fan of this one. Is this like your quintessential holiday movie?
I am.
So much
I
so
mean,
that apparently Desi has shared her previous Christmas card with us. You can see
that's right.
Desi in the window back there, and her son in the foreground, husband. I don't know how you rope him into such things, but you know, good on you for that. You know, so that
We do,
was.
we So I am also a graphic designer, and so we always do something kind of silly like this for the holidays. And because last year was 2020, I couldn't think of a more appropriate movie to do for our Christmas card than Home Alone.
Yeah. So one of the things I was going to kind of challenge you with when we started this is that I wasn't sure this was a Christmas movie, and upon rewatching it, it clearly is a Christmas movie. But there are others that we could debate whether they're Christmas movies. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, a lot of it takes place during Christmas. Die Hard is the quintessential. Let's debate whether it's a Christmas movie or not. And Princess Bride, which our good friend Neko brought up, is
It's a Christmas
happens.
movie?
Well, the grandfather comes and he's reading the story at Christmas
Oh,
to his
okay.
son.
I get
So
it.
like the actual story part doesn't happen there. I don't know. Sometimes it's a reach, but I think for this one, it's blatantly a Christmas movie. The music is Christmas.
It
It
is.
happens at Christmas. There
Hmm.
are decorations all the way through. He goes to see Santa. Yeah, this is clearly a Christmas movie, but it doesn't have your regular, normal Christmas theme to it, which I think is what makes this one special. It's kind of outside the box. This franchise, now that Disney owns it, boy, we could talk about the new movie at the end that they just did, Home Sweet Home Alone. But and at some point, Desi, you know I'm going to hit you with trivia, but let me just ask you this question to
Oh,
see if you
Lord.
know off the top of your head. Do you know how many movies now officially there are in the Home Alone series?
Four that I can think of. I'm gonna go with four. Final answer.
There are four on Disney Plus, but there are six.
Okay. What?
Yes, there are six.
I had no
How many
idea.
Bring It On movies are there?
Only one in my heart.
Oh, there are five.
I
Bring It On
know of
Again,
the
Bring It On.
Hayden Panettiere one,
Yeah, that's
but
Bring
I've
It On
only
Again.
seen the original with Kirsten Dunst.
Bring It On Again, Bring It On In It to Win It, Bring It On All or Nothing, and Bring It On Fight to the Finish. I know my Bring It Ons,
How are
so
there that many Bring It On movies?
I'm just
I
telling
didn't
you.
know you were such a cheerleading fan.
Yes, my high school had, or no, your school has no gymnastics team. This is a last resort. That's my favorite line. Anyway, so when we go back into the Home Alone series, there was obviously the first one that we were talking about tonight. There was Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Home Alone 3, which is a different kid, different characters, different everything, just the same premise that he gets, left home alone. The fourth one brings it back to Kevin, and I believe the fourth one is called the Holiday Heist, I believe.
I didn't
And
know there was another one with Kevin.
but it's not Macaulay Culkin; it's the character of Kevin.
Oh,
Yeah, and so
really?
yeah, actually, it's called Taking Back the House. Sorry, that's the Kevin one. That's four, and then five is the Holiday
Okay.
Heist, and then six is the one that just came out on Disney Plus Day, which is Home Sweet Home Alone. Which again, we can talk about at the end. Obviously, the premise of this one, the thumbnail that you may have clicked on says, "Is this the best one?" I'm You know what? I could have bet money that you were going to do that at least once tonight. I was going to
At
say that.
least
Yeah,
once.
at least once tonight. So this is obviously the original one that we're talking about, the one that started it all. And you know what? As I'm watching it, there are some things about it that really kind of bug me now in a different way than it used to. So the whole premise is there's a huge family. They're all in one house. It's the extended family. It's Kevin and his brothers and sisters and mom and dad, and then the dad's brother
I
and
think
his
he only
whole
has a
family.
brother. Doesn't he? Isn't Buzz his only actual brother? The rest are cousins.
I don't think they are all cousins. I think there are more kids than that in his immediate family, but it's very not well defined. I don't think there's just the idea that there are a ton of people in the house. And Buzz is definitely his older brother. Buzz is kind of like the bully of the family, and so there's that's the thing. But I feel like the sisters are also part of the family too.
So some of the sisters, I'm pretty sure they're not his sisters. One of them is the uncle who's their daughter, and the other one is the uncle who is in Paris's daughter. Because I know for sure one of them, when one of the wet bandits came dressed as a police officer, he said, "Oh, are your parents here?" And she said, "Oh, my parents are in Paris."
Oh, right. You're right. Yeah, because they did keep coming back to trying to figure out who actually lived in the house, right?
Hmm.
Um, okay, well, we can agree on Buzz. We'll say that at least
Okay.
it's at least Buzz is one of them.
The
Um,
second best Buzz on Disney Plus.
So they go out of their way to set the stage for us. They set the stage in a way that when you first meet up, there's a policeman downstairs in the house. Everyone's running around. There's craziness. poor Kevin, he feels like he's getting neglected. He says some things to his mom that I really kind of, it really
Are
makes
not
him
nice.
right. I mean, like over the top, not nice, so that you can see that, hey, there's a lot of friction between Kevin and his mom. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
One of the first things he says, uh, he says, hang up the phone to his mom. Uh, and then like, make me, why don't you? Like, I wrote these things down because like, as a parent, those are the things that I'm just like, "Ugh," like how do you let that happen?
I re
But
I remember watching this in the 90s and thinking, yeah, yeah, you tell her. And now that I'm watching it as an adult with children, I'm like, oh, how dare he? Don't
right.
talk to your mother like that.
Yeah. So there, yeah, there's a line when she's finally had enough, and she wants him to go to bed, and she walks him upstairs, and then she says to him, "Go upstairs," and he says, "I am upstairs, dummy." What? Like, I mean,
So
I
mean.
feel like there would have been beatings all around at my house had this been a thing when I was growing up. I can't even imagine that. And so, like, this is really, it's over the top to say that he's kind of a brat. He definitely, they show that he feels neglected, so I get that. I mean, I get the neglected part of it. Mom seems to be a working mom. Dad's very busy. There's so many people in the house. He's just like kind of at his wits' end. His brother's not very nice to him. And so he reflects that by kind of lashing out. And so for that reason, no one seems to like him. And there's this like altercation in the kitchen that really kind of sets the stage for he's like everyone's had enough of him. And it's with Uncle
Mm-hmm.
Frank, who is clearly, again, super horrible. And he says something about um, being a jerk.
Look what you did, you
Look what you
little
did,
jerk.
yeah, you little jerk. Which is that's the moment when everyone seems to hate Kevin at that point, and so they take him upstairs. He's got to go upstairs, and now he's like making these wishes that I wish I was alone. I wish that that I was the only one here. So that's the first stage, and then there's this almost like magical spiritual moment where outside the wind's blowing and you just don't know what's going on, and it feels like it's like the Freaky Friday switch kind of a vibe. And in that moment, instead of it being something supernatural, the power goes out, and then all the alarm clocks
Mm-hmm.
are off. And so now everybody wakes up late the next morning. They're all in panic to get out. And so they're running out of the house, and they leave him behind. There's a scene before that where they're in the kitchen and he spills milk, and it spills it on his plane ticket. You see the plane ticket in the trash can, so you know, okay, well, wait a minute.
Yep.
They're one plane ticket short, so they're not going to count out the plane tickets correctly. Then when they're counting the
Mm-hmm.
kids out by the car, the neighbor kid, who was also a big brat, I feel like I'm judging a lot here, but I do think they set the stage for it. That little other little kid who's going to Orlando. They didn't say Disney. He's going to Orlando for his vacation. He's in the truck looking through all their stuff, and so they accidentally count him as the extra kid. So they really set the
Mm-hmm.
stage as to, I think that as like parents, we would look and say, well, I could never let that happen. But they're showing you how that would happen. There were two separate
And the parents
vans.
are in first class while the kids are all back in coach. Although, wouldn't any of the kids notice that Kevin wasn't there?
I mean, you would think Buzz would. I don't know, but there are a lot of kids. So that's, again, they're setting that stage. And before they leave, the somebody comes over and says, hey, the power's back up, but the phone systems are down. You won't have phones for a while, to the mom, which she takes in passing. But again, that's kind of part of this whole like setting the stage for why this plays out the way that it does.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, maybe they go over the top on it. Maybe it's because I've seen this movie too many times. Maybe it's because they're using 1990 rules. I don't know, but it seems super obvious to me as they're walking through all this that they're setting the stage to say this is possible and could have happened and doesn't make the mom a bad person.
I
No?
guess. But I'm pretty sure I would still notice if one of my kids wasn't there. But I only have two of them. So maybe if I
Yeah.
had 18 or however many kids they had, I might miss one.
I mean, maybe. So there's another kid in this movie, and his name is Fuller, and Fuller
Yes,
is
that's
played
his brother
by
in real life.
yeah, played by Kieran Culkin.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that is, I mean, that's kind of a neat little moment with that one. Um,
And some
and
good product placement there with him too.
you mean because of the Pepsi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they basically they talk about the fact that there's going to be a that Fuller wets the bed, and if Fuller keeps drinking all of the soda, that he's gonna wet the bed at night. I don't know. Maybe I mean
If
is
he
that
if he keeps getting fuller on Pepsi, he's gonna wet the bed.
exactly? So when you're watching this movie now, and you like you mentioned before, you see it through like the eyes of a parent instead of maybe the eyes of a kid. Were there anything
Hmm.
else other than like the things I'm talking about that kind of stood out to you?
Um,
Either as annoying with the kids or dropping the ball by the parents or anything like that.
just that, it's seeing it from the parents' point of view that, you know, anything he said to his mom, I probably would have cried. I mean, I get that she gets angry, but at least from my perspective, I would have been like, "How dare you call me that?" And just I'd be an emotional wreck. But um, luckily, my kids are still in the "mommy is the greatest thing ever" phase, which I hope they stay in forever.
Sure, why wouldn't they? Here's a picture of Kieran Culkin as Fuller and that product placement that you talked about. There's a lot of Pepsi in here.
Oh, I didn't even remember that little girl. I don't know where she came from.
Mommy
Oh,
and
what happened
Daddy
to my
love each other
camera?
very
Where
much.
am I?
I don't know. What did you do? Oh,
I am back.
yay!
What happened?
I don't know. Just something screwy, I guess. Um,
Okay.
so all of this like craziness in the house is leading up to them finally waking up in the morning and scrambling out to go to the airport. And they get on the front porch and they said, "We've got 45 minutes to make before the plane takes off." And the dad says, "We can make it." And his brother's like, I don't know that we can. He's like, we'll make it. And I just keep thinking, 45 minutes before a plane takes off, and you're standing on your front porch in 2021,
That
like
would never happen.
zero
Even if
possibility.
you were standing at the front door of the airport, it wouldn't happen because you need like an hour minimum if you're flying domestic. And if they were flying international to France, I usually get there at least 2 hours early.
I wouldn't know. I don't go to France.
I mean, international travel at all, 2 hours minimum.
The only international I do is the International Gateway.
That's
Yeah.
the only one you need. Am I the only one seeing this flickering that's going on
No,
with my
no, no.
camera?
You're definitely flickering.
Okay.
I'm gonna move
I'm
your
sorry.
camera. Why don't you hit refresh on it, and just we'll take a second
Okay.
for you to get back.
Sorry.
So one of the other things that I think is really interesting about this movie is the way that Joe Pesci and I have my Wet Bandits T-shirt on here. That Joe Pesci, his character, and Daniel Stern's character as the Wet Bandits, the way they case the joint, it's kind of really super smart and something you would assume wouldn't happen anymore. Is that he dresses up like a policeman? He comes by the house and he lets people know, hey, it's going to be unsafe this holiday. Anything we need to know, are you going out of town? And basically, the McAllisters just spill their guts and say, yeah, we're going out of town. We're going to be gone for this long. Are you a variant? Is that what's happening?
My camera was fine until you turned to me. I don't know what's going on. Ah! Okay, hold
Desi
on.
is
I'll refresh
broken. Desi is broken. But it is, I mean, it's something that I would hope that you guys will not do now. That you wouldn't, trust somebody. We have a lot of, in my company, we have a lot of, like, they give us phishing tests where they'll send us an email and see if we'll click on it. And they kind of try to bait us into clicking on it. If we do, we have to take a test. So I feel like that as a society, we're a little bit more careful about what information we give out. If somebody is like, oh, hey, you're really, I really want to send you some money. Can you give me your social security number? I would hope that you wouldn't hand that over without giving it a second thought. So anyway, so it was.
I
I
hope.
think that's really neat the way they case the joint and try to figure out who's going to be around, and they kind of show off that knowledge later as he's realizing who has timers on their house. And I guess that maybe at this time in history, timers were a bigger deal than they are now.
Yeah, I at least for me, I know that I have all of my lights on Alexa. So she heard me anyway. Um, so if I'm ever not home and I want to look like I am, I can randomly turn it off and on from my phone.
So
So
so let me talk about this.
less likely to happen.
Poor Kevin has to sleep in the attic, and he's really slumming it here, ain't he?
That
Um,
is a nice attic.
right?
My attic looks nothing like that.
No, no. Mine has a couple of boards that allow me to put all my Christmas decorations on it. That's about it. But by the way,
Yeah.
I'm 90% sure I had that comforter and sheet set. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that I had that. But it's like I just look at this and go, oh, yeah, poor Kevin. I mean, they've got a super nice house. Um, you know, he doesn't.
It's a silver tuna.
What?
That's what they call the house, the silver tuna.
Oh, gotcha. So, I mean, there's a lot of, nice things happening in his life. Obviously, it's not everything he hoped it would be. Um, they run away in the morning to get to the plane. They make it to the plane. They fly off. Mom is like, I think I forgot something. What did I forget? And she's like, is it this? Is it that? Did we leave the garage door open? And Dad's like, yeah, that's what it was. We left the garage door open. So they're like, okay, that's no big deal. We're fine. And then later she just freaks out and she just knows it's Kevin. Not really sure how she knew that. I mean, they never went back and counted the kids again, but just somehow she knew that it was Kevin. How would she know that?
I don't know, but if I knew that I left my garage door open, I would be freaking out a lot more than she was because who, like, that your door probably from your garage to your house is also unlocked. So anybody can go in and rob it. She shouldn't be surprised if her house is robbed when she gets back.
I think Rosita's dragging me for not knowing the whole silver tuna thing. Is that what we're doing? Is that what you're upset about? It says, "Wow, really, Rob?" Um, what, I'm a little lost in chat here, but anyway. So when I go back to look at like um, at like the airport and all of these things that are in this time period, it is just very interesting to me the things that have changed in 30 years. Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah.
Just
No, is
how,
it? Oh, I guess it probably is.
yeah,
Holy cow,
just
now I feel old.
just how life works. So anyway, once they're at the airport and they're on the plane and they're flying to Paris and they realize what's happening, they try to calm Mom down. Then we flash back to Kevin, who's just realizing, hey, maybe my weird dream came true and everyone is out of my life now and I can just do whatever I want to in the house. This whole scene with him in the house where he's like just doing all this creative stuff, I don't know if my kids would have done that if they were like by themselves. I think their big thing would have been to watch TV without interruption or play video games without interruption. I don't know that they would have, gone to all like the sled down the steps and the BB gun in the laundry chute and all that kind of stuff. I mean, would your kids be that creative?
We don't have stairs and we don't have a laundry chute, so I don't think so. Uh, but maybe they would do something creative. I don't know. Uh, for sure, I think that eating all of that ice cream was a bad idea because I can tell you from experience, eating gigantic scoops of ice cream is not as fun as it sounds.
Ah,
And I'm going to refresh again.
yeah. So apparently, Rosita, the comment was about those sheets. Yeah, I'm gonna own it. I had those sheets. Um, it was a different time. It's fine. We're all fine. So the other thing is that once Desi fixes her camera here, I, do you need a like a battery operated thing? Are you
I don't know what is going on. Hold on. I'm sorry. I can still hear you though.
okay? Um, so basically, I guess one of the things I was thinking of with the way that they put everything together was that there was too much foreshadowing. I think there's too much foreshadowing of everything that would happen. Of they're gonna leave him. how he's going to react, what's going to happen with him. Just a little bit too much. But again, it's a family movie in the 1990s. I think that's just the way things worked.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about actors for a second.
Okay.
Joe Pesci in this, I think, is amazing. Daniel Stern, I think, did a great
Yes.
job there, the Wet Bandits. Then
Mm-hmm.
you've got John Hurd and Moira from The Creek as the parents.
Catherine O'Hare.
No, I would rather call her Moira. Yeah,
I
no.
would rather call her the voice of Canada far and wide.
Yeah, we could do that too. So
I mean, this is Disney Parks fans that are probably watching, right?
true.
We got to pull it back.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But then, there was a guy in here that I was like, oh, I definitely think he's from something else. And I thought, I'm not really sure what he's from. I looked him up, and it's actually kind of funny. So it was this guy. Hold, please. The pizza guy. There's
Mm-hmm.
something that looked very familiar about the pizza guy, and I wasn't really sure what it was. So I went to IMDb. Apparently, his name is Danny Warhol. He's listed as Pizza
Okay.
Boy uh, in this thing. But if I go down to Pizza Boy, no, I've lost him here. Um, Polka
I
Band.
think you missed him.
Yeah, I did.
There
Pizza
he
Boy.
is.
All right. So if you
Pizza
look at
boy.
his IMDb, which is not happening fast here. Um, Here, I'll just wait until this loads. What I was going to say was, everything's listed as uncredited. I've never seen this much uncredited. Look at this. As you look down the list here, all these things: Toy Factory worker, uncredited; the Finding Kelly, club patron, uncredited, uncredited, uncredited. Look, why did this man get no credit? Uncredited all the way freaking down. Bar patron, uncredited, like telemarketer, hotel valet. This guy has had quite a storied past. Doc Hollywood, boy at fair, uncredited. Backdraft, train passenger, uncredited. Like, how do you do this many things and stay uncredited, especially when you were that big in a movie like this? I was
I
blown
know
away.
that Miss Allison had a quite a career as a background extra when she lived in New York. So maybe that's just what this guy did. He was just an extra for a whole bunch of things, and
In this one,
I
though, he
don't
had,
think she ever got credited for anything.
but in this one, he not only had a speaking role, but he also had he comes back a second time. Like
He does.
he's a legit character in this thing. Even under things where it's listed as him as his self, it says Family Feud, self, audience member, uncredited. Are You Hot? The Search
He
for America's Sexiest
probably
People, uncredited. Everything. I
he
mean,
probably added all of this himself.
yes, but that's again quite a storied career for a guy that I was like, I feel like I know him from something, but he's been in everything, but he's not done anything. It's just very strange, very strange. Um, but at the heart of this whole thing is Macaulay Culkin, and it occurs to me as I'm watching this movie, he really, as a little kid, does a good job carrying this movie. I mean,
He was a great actor
but he kind of
for what,
carries,
like 8 years old?
yeah, he kind of carries this movie though because it's really all around him and about him. And I don't know many other stories that have this much of a central young character in him, like by himself, right? Can you think of
Yeah.
another? I mean, it's
Not that's by himself for that extended period of time.
yeah, it's kind of nuts.
Eric Von Detten.
Yeah, but he wasn't that young though, was he?
He was in some Christmas movie when he was a little kid, but not Home Alone.
Okay. Um, the next thing is that as he's in the house, Kevin is doing like all these weird, strange things, and one of the things that he does is he watches this movie, and the movie becomes such a big deal that again to this day we're quoting it over and over again. The whole you filthy animal.
It was
So,
pictured on News Tonight last week, and it was in my Christmas card last year. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
and the thing that surprises me about that, I mean, I guess it doesn't surprise me, is that's not a real movie. That's something that they just put together for this. Oh, stop it. Stop it. You're fine. Um, but and there is a movie that it sort of looks like it's based around.
Oh, what movie is that?
Uh, it's called Angels with Dirty Faces, and it was a James Cagney movie. So I mean,
And what was the name of this fake movie? Because I feel like it was something similar to that.
yeah, that's why it was very close. And I'm looking for the name of it, and I'm sure somebody will probably have it in chat before I do because I had it on my list of things, but because you keep varianting out, it throws me off.
I'm
Um,
sorry.
it was called Angels. Some Angels with Filthy Souls was the name of it.
Oh,
'Cause
see,
it's written on
the
the tape as he puts it in the VCR.
how do you feel about having some of your medicine back thrown back at you, not knowing some trivia?
Okay, then let's get into trivia. Let's do it. All right, you ready? You ready? So the
No.
license plate on the
Yeah.
police car, Desi. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not I'm not going to get that granular with it. But we will have I have a couple here. Do you want easy, medium, or hard?
Um, let's ramp it up. So easy to hard.
Easy. When they get picked up to go to the airport, there are shuttles waiting for them outside. What's the name of the shuttle company?
Oh my God. It's definitely not Uber. Nick's Maxi Van.
Oh, you wish. Airport Express. It was very, very, very basic. I'll go more basic than that. What city does this take place in?
Chicago.
Okay, cool. Um, the how old is Kevin?
8.
Yes. What airline are they flying out on?
American.
Yep. What's the name of the pizza company that delivers the pizza?
Little Nero's.
Yep. How much was the pizza?
The $11.
No, no. How much was the pizza that the family ordered?
$110.76.
That's a good guess. That's a good guess. 122.50. There were 10 pizzas. Uh,
Ah,
what's Mr. McAllister's first name?
Peter.
Right. What's the name on the Wet Bandits van?
I think it's something plumbing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's OK Plumbing and Heating, but it's O
Okay,
H
plumbing.
K A Y.
Okay.
Um, when they're running through the airport to get to their plane, do you know what song is playing?
Run, run, Rudolph.
There you go. Yeah, you got a lot of these. In Buzz's room,
Somehow I got more of these than Brink.
but right, apparently this is your favorite movie. Never mind Brink. This is your favorite movie.
Apparently. I
There's a
haven't done a Christmas card of Brink
there's a poster. I don't know why you haven't.
yet.
There's a poster on Buzz's wall of a rapper. Name the rapper.
Tupac?
No.
I don't know.
Ice-T.
Iced tea. Okay.
Yep. Um, and then who says the line "Home Alone"?
The mom. She says, I left my son home alone.
I don't know that she
And she's
does,
talking to the police officer.
but
Yeah, when she's on the phone
well, no,
in
I mean in that order. Like
Paris.
like my son, I think she said I need you to check on my son. I don't know that she did. We can check the tape on that. But Joe Pesci is the one who says it in a very outward way. He says, hey kid, you're home alone," which I thought was just it sort of stood out. Finally,
It was
this
home and you're all alone.
nope, he just says home alone.
Okay.
Supermarket checkout lady. What was her name? when Kevin's checking out all his groceries.
Jessica.
That was a very bold move. No, it is not. I mean, you said it with all the confidence in the world, so God bless you on that
I
one.
have
But it
no
is,
confidence in that.
it was not. It was Sally.
She looks
So
like a Jessica.
yeah, probably. Uh, anyway, all right. There's your trivia for that one.
I'm
So
feeling
let's.
pretty good about that
Yeah,
one.
no, you did pretty well on that one. You did pretty well on that one. So then we go through this thing where I guess Kevin finally realizes, hey, I'm not sure my family's coming back. I'm going to be a grown up now. And so he starts doing like taking a bath, and he's decided that he's going to wear aftershave, which is what starts this, because he puts all the this brute aftershave on and it stings him. And so he does that
But I don't
twice.
understand how it stings him unless he actually shaved.
It's movie magic. And then he decides he's going to go out and get a toothbrush, because I guess he's,
But it has to be approved by the American Dental Association.
right. So this is where he runs to his neighbor, which we've already again established early on that the neighbor, Mr. Marley, is, the Buzz has told him this story about how Mr. Marley is very scary and like he's a killer and all this bad stuff about it. So he's already got like he's bought into this hook, line, and sinker with Buzz, which is again sort of part of his journey is like he's afraid of the furnace in the basement. He's very irresponsible. He wants his parents to be and his family to disappear. But as he spends time home alone, he decide he kind of goes through this like journey of like you know self-discovery, I guess, to be able to say I do miss all these things about my family and I can overcome my fears. And one of them is Mr. Marley and his his snow shovel and trash can that he drags down the street. Um,
I'm
so,
assuming the reason he didn't have a toothbrush is because his parents packed it in his suitcase and took it with them to France.
but I
How
thought
many days was it before he decided to buy a toothbrush? Because it definitely wasn't on the first day.
it feels like it was the
And he
first
ate
morning.
all of that ice cream. And like I said, I have experience eating that much ice cream, and my teeth felt terrible afterwards. Oh,
Huh.
that's all I had to say about that.
Yeah. Okay. I don't. I mean, I feel like that was same day. As far as time passes, because if you think about the parents and trying to make their way back to him, there is a pretty quick turnaround, I think, from them, coming back. So the things that he does as he's going through probably happens pretty quickly. It may have been the day after that he goes to do that. So, but I feel like he had to pack his own bag, and maybe that bag never actually got packed. Like that was his responsibility, right? Because he kept asking everybody, "How do I pack a bag? I've never had to pack a bag before."
And then his brother said, "You know, mom's gonna pack your bag for you."
Yeah. Dawn says maybe he did the old finger brush.
Ew.
Could have happened.
I mean,
Um,
I guess that's better than not brushing his teeth at all.
so he gets so scared in the store that Mr. Marley is there that he runs out with the toothbrush, and then he runs through the park and he's running from the police, and now he feels like he's a fugitive on his way back, and then he runs into the wet bandits because they've just been casing the joint, and then there's the whole back and forth with the wet bandits and are the McAllisters home or are they really in Paris? So it's interesting the way that plays back and forth, but I think that when he finally like gets to the point where he overhears the bandits, which is very strange, saying we're going to come back at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very specific. To hash that plan out outside. They've discovered that he is home alone. They're going to come back, and they're going to come back at 9 o'clock. So he decides that he's going to go, and he has like some non-traditional ways of getting out of the trouble. First, he decides he's going to go to Santa and ask Santa to bring his family back. Then he ends up going to church and, I assume praying for some kind of resolution. And that's when he runs into Mr. Marley, and then we hear his entire story about how he and his son have been in a fight. They don't talk anymore. He doesn't get to spend time with his granddaughter, and so this is why he's in the church at this time. I always felt like Mr. Marley should have talked to him before this. It probably wouldn't have been as effective, but I feel like all those times where he just sat and stared at him without
So
saying a word
creepy.
was so creepy. Exactly. It just lent to this whole story of Buzz's the entire time. That's on
Hmm.
Marley. That's his problem. That's bad. I wonder if he was named Marley after the whole like Jacob Marley from A Christmas Carol walking through life with his chains, and I don't know, but it was very strange the way he would just look at him and grunt and walks in front of him and throws his money on the counter with his bloody hand. It's just he's really pushing the stereotype of murdery next door neighbor.
He's not trying to get away from that at all.
No. Um,
Even though he says he knows what people say about him.
yes, exactly. Then why wouldn't you try to be just a tad more friendly? I don't know. Meanwhile, back in Paris, mom's still trying to make her way back to Kevin. She's borrowing, and not stealing at this point, but she's offering to exchange lots of goods to people to be able to swap out the seat to be able to get home. And so
Hmm.
she finally gets a flight, but then ends up in Scranton, and then has to then get a band of polka musicians to drive her the rest of the way, featuring John Candy, who was in Uncle Buck, which was another movie by John Hughes. So John Candy was great. I love John Candy. He was
Yes.
one character pretty much, but he was great as that one character in everything that he did. I still love
Cool
Trains.
Runnings.
Oh yeah, Cool Runnings. I was gonna say Trains, Planes, and
Best one.
Automobiles, where he's like, where's your hand? It's here. Where's your other hand? It's between two pillows. Those aren't pillows. Um, the chemistry between him and Steve Martin in that movie, Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, was great. He's good in this movie. It seems a little unnecessary that he's there, and or I mean, I get that this is mom's
He
journey
must have had a
back.
contract with Fox where he had to be in
Do
something.
do but X amount of movies.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe could have been. So Kevin knows that the bandits are coming back at 9 o'clock, and he decides to just traipse around town, go visit Santa. He gets some Tic Tacs from Santa. Then he goes and into the church, has that big conversation, and then the bell tolls, and he's got to run home. And it's like, why weren't you home planning all along?
And then he had to go make himself some mac and cheese.
That he didn't get to eat. That's the thing too. Like he makes this whole thing about him making dinner for himself, and he sits down and says a prayer, and he's got the candles lit and everything's perfect, and then it's 9, just the clock turns 9, and he's like, oh, blows him out, and he's done. You wasted some time there, Kevin. This was a bad investment in your time. You can eat after you foil the robbers. This was not good. So then he starts what is basically the root of Home Alone, the thing that people think of when they think of Home Alone. Would you agree that what they think of are all the booby traps?
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that that's what carries through to the rest of the movies. Is that's that's kind of the heart and soul of all the movies moving forward, is all the booby traps.
Hmm.
And he has some good booby traps. The only thing that really kind of bugs me is like the the blocking of them is so perfect. Like, how would he know that the one was going to go downstairs and the other one was going to go here? I guess that's the suspension of disbelief at this point, because it's an 8-year-old kid who's defending his house with broken Christmas ornaments, water, and tar. I mean, he does a great job with it. Also, I didn't mention another actor who we see a lot in this movie is this spider.
He's phenomenal. I
Yeah,
hope
just
he should have gotten an Oscar for that.
I
Best
mean,
supporting actor.
he does just what he needs to do. Um, so
So believable too.
so Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, the wet bandits, they're running through the house. They're chasing after him. They do the thing like the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where he reaches onto the hot handle of the door that has the McAllister M on it. He gets that burned onto his hand and looks at it almost as if it's like the medallion from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Um, he gets his hair, like Joe Pesci's hair gets blown with the torch, and he stands there and
Yes.
just takes it to make sure it gets all good and done. Like, that's another thing. Like that, I mean, I get that it's the '90s, it's a family comedy. It's just that was a little much. Daniel Stern with like trying to make it up the steps and losing his shoes and his socks, and and then stepping
And that
directly in the
nail
one
is
spot.
perfectly placed. Yeah.
Yeah, you're on the same page with me on that one. It's like the nail was in the perfect one spot for that. But I think that in this time period, I think every little kid wanted to be Kevin McAllister and setting these traps all around their house. I wonder how many houses, like, did you ever do this? Was your house ruined by
Oh,
you setting like
I
booby
was
traps all around?
I was a good kid. I was an only child and an only cousin for a long time. So I guess I never had the issues that Kevin had with having too many kids around and needing the attention.
So all the attention for Desi, basically, is what you're telling me.
I didn't have any cousins till I was like 10, and then my sister wasn't born till I was 12, so I was good.
Well played. Yeah, so this is that scene where he just sits there and waits for all the fire to burn his head. I assume that it looks like there wasn't a stunt double here, and it doesn't look like it was done with CGI. So I wonder if like this was done practically. I don't know.
Well, if you've ever seen the stunt spectacular at Disney's Hollywood Studios, you know that it is possible to light somebody on fire without seriously damaging them.
Yeah, but they're usually wrapped up like all the way up, not just
Well,
like
I'm sure they have whatever that is that that suit is made out of, they have exactly on his head,
okay.
exactly where it needs to be.
I'm bought in. I'm there. I love it. Um, so so then the fact that they were so prompt to be there at 9, like exactly when they said they would, that just shows quality bandits. I really think so. So so after they go through the house and then he gives them the address and I was like, oh, I found a mistake because the address that they originally say the house is 671. He gets on the phone and he says, hey, come, my house is being broken into at 656 Lincoln Boulevard. I was like, oh, I caught him. The address is different, and I had forgotten that they catch him at the neighbor's house. So,
Yep.
he goes over to the
And the
neighbor's
phones are
house.
working again.
Yep, there you go. He goes over. Well, we knew the phones were working before, just no one was home at this point because everybody was gone,
And
right?
nobody had tried calling him again.
Yeah, they
They
addressed
just,
that in
oh, well, we tried this one time, so that's it.
they address it in the new movie though. They address the phones because they go, oh, no one has a landline anymore. You know.
Hmm.
So then we go to the other house. He gets there. They kind of figure out what he's doing, and they trap him, and then they put him on a hook, which reminds me of Johnny Dangerously. I don't know if you ever saw that movie with Joe Piscopo. Where he's like, my mother hung me on a hook once. Um, no, nobody. Cool. They had this
Sorry.
this moment where they hang him on this hook, and they kind of read him the riot act, and then Mr. Marley comes in as if he was part of the plan all the time, and he knocks them both on the head with the snow shovel, takes Kevin, they get out, the police show up. Now, the good news about this is that the police still haven't seen Kevin to know that his parents neglected him and left him home alone, which would have probably led to a lot of child protective services issues and questions.
But the police already knew that Kevin's parents had left him home alone, and they didn't seem concerned at all.
Yeah, I think she was very unclear with them. If you go back again to the tape, I think she was very unclear with them about like how old was he, why was he at home, what was he doing there. It was, hey, can you go check on my son?
Hmm.
But yeah, so they get away with the whole thing, and Kevin and Mr. Marley are they're free, and the bad guys get caught, and they go to jail, and everything's happy, and he goes to bed. When he wakes up the next morning, Mom's home, as if all his dreams and prayers have come true. And
And
Kevin's
he is very good at cleaning.
yes, except for some reason he leaves the
Somehow
gold tooth.
he missed that one thing.
And apparently also didn't clean Buzz's room because that's the other thing that happens. He's got some swagger to him though at this point. When everybody comes home and they're like, "You did what? You stayed home alone. You bought groceries. You didn't burn the house down. Everything worked out for him." Um,
Yeah, milk and fabric softener.
yes. Um, And then there's that moment that I feel like every like good movie, and maybe every Disney movie specifically has, is that moment where the music crescendos, and there's that sappy moment when he looks out the window and he sees Mr. Marley reuniting with his son and his granddaughter, and looking over at him and kind of giving him the, the look. Yeah, it has that moment to it, which is very Disney-esque. And then then Buzz yells at him at the end, and he's like, and then it's over. So I think that there's a lot of cool to this movie, but then they go to rekindle it with Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. I think they sort of get away with that one. I don't know that the others are watchable.
I don't know if I've ever seen any of the other ones other than Home Sweet Home Alone.
Okay, so let's talk about Home Sweet Home Alone for a second then, because it does actually tie in a little bit, because Buzz
A
is
little
in
bit,
this
yeah.
one. He's a policeman.
Mm-hmm.
The house is protected by McAllister Security, which,
Yep.
good
So
callback
I'm
to that.
thinking that's what Kevin does for a living now is he owns a security company.
Yeah. I mean, did you watch the whole thing?
I did watch the whole thing, yep.
And did you like it?
It wasn't as bad as other people were making it out to be. Is it as classic as the original one? Probably not. But they made some twists to it to make it a little bit different and interesting.
So funny, I looked it up today. Mikey Day from Saturday Night Live is one of the writers of it, which surprised me a little bit. And then one of his fellow writers on SNL also wrote it with him. So I thought that was interesting. But I said this on another show when we were talking about the Disney Plus Day on one of our episodes, is that I had a problem making it through. It just felt too cringy, too too much, and too silly. It didn't seem to like have all of the plot holes filled about why they couldn't just like get the doll from the kid. I didn't make it through. So I mean, you
They
have
were a
little
little
kids.
over the top.
Did your kids watch it and like it?
No, they fell asleep. But my husband and I finished watching it, and yeah, it was fine. But yeah, the kids fell asleep. However, they did like the original Home Alone, and now I can't get them to stop doing this.
So in 2018, Google did a Home Alone, like the Return of Kevin, where Macaulay Culkin came back, and
Oh, wow.
he reprised his role as Kevin, in a Google Home commercial where he's using Google Home to do all the things that as a kid he would have had he would have he would have done on his own. They kind of match him jumping on the bed in the same
Oh my
clothes.
gosh.
Have you not
Wow.
seen
How
that?
did they get that?
I would
No.
have played the whole thing except for the fact that
Copyright.
I don't want Google
Yeah.
to, I mean not Google, but YouTube to yell at me. But like here he is watching the movie. Um,
That's incredible how close they got it.
yeah, everything. I mean, everything is so cool. The trouble they went to, even the fact that they have a little Nero's delivery pizza guy, and
Oh
showing
my
like the
God.
front door and how that works out. And then but they're not using actual Pepsi. You can see that by that
Yes, I
can.
see that.
So
Hmm.
I mean, it's a little bit more safe, I guess. I wonder if I don't know that I don't. That's not the original pizza guy. I don't think. I couldn't
No,
really
it's not.
tell, but
No, because that kid looks like he's still young,
yeah.
versus I'm sure that the guy who played the pizza kid is now much older than that.
As much as Macaulay Culkin is so like, every picture we've seen him in as an adult for the most part has the long hair. It's really weird to see him with the short hair. I wonder if he cut it as part of the deal to do this commercial. But here he is eating
I
his mac and cheese, um, with his
I feel like
candles and everything.
I have seen him with short hair recently, because he married London Tipton from
Brenda K. Song.
the the Sweet Life with Zach and Cody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
Two
was.
child actors.
It was the whole thing was really well done. I like when they do that. I liked it. There's the actual OK plumbing and heating. I think they use actual audio from Joe Pesci um, in this as well. But they've got there was one that Old Navy did with the Christmas Vacation crew, which had Beverly D'Angelo, Chevy Chase, and a bunch of the Rusty and Audrey's in it, which I think was really cool too. So anyway,
Oh, that's
I just
awesome.
thought that was kind of neat to see. So before we get to final thoughts on this one, let me ask you: is there anything that we didn't talk about that you were hoping that we would?
Can't think of anything.
Anybody else in the cast? Any other music? Any other things that
Oh,
you thought were cool?
I did sing that song in choir back in the day. The
Um,
Somewhere in My Memory song that it was played throughout the movie. So it always brings back nostalgic, childhood memories, even from outside of that movie.
Vibes.
Yes.
Okay. Um, so, like I said, this will be the first Christmas review of the season that we're going to do, or holiday review that we're going to do. We're also going to uh, do Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. We're going to do Jingle All the Way, and
Another classic.
yeah, and then we're also going to do Babes in Toyland. So, we've done a lot of other holiday movies. We've done the original, the Jim Carrey, like the creepy Christmas Carol one. We've done the Muppets Christmas Carol. We did the Lego Star Wars holiday special. Um, and, we've
When are we
done
doing the Star Wars holiday special?
when it's on Disney Plus. If they drop it, well, let's do it. You know what? I'm excited. They
I
did.
hope they do.
They did drop the
That
classic
would be
stuff,
wonderful.
and Neko had asked that we do the Ewoks, and so that's her brink, and we're going to be doing it on
Is
for
is
for May the
Ewoks on
4th.
Disney Plus?
Not the cartoon, but the live action, the Battle
Okay.
for Endor.
I want to be on that. I want to be on that deep in the plus.
Um, So anyway, we got a lot of holiday stuff coming. So we hope you guys will join us for all of that. We hope that you'll go back and watch Brink or rewatch it if you haven't already. We had a good panel
Yes.
discussion on that one, so that was a lot of fun.
I fought so hard for it. Please go watch the Brink episode.
Thank you for everyone who donated to the marathon show. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you for tuning in all the time. But now is the moment of truth. We've talked about it. We labeled this show is the 1990 original classic still the best. So, Desi, here's the moment. Are you ready?
I don't know.
Would you recommend this movie?
I definitely would. I mean, there there are things that don't hold up today, like the phone lines going out and some other things that like getting to the airport within 45 minutes and getting through security wouldn't happen today. But it's still such a good movie, such a classic. Definitely one of the first movies. I think this year it was the first Christmas movie that I watched of the season. So absolutely recommend it to anybody, even little kids who might not get some of the references.
Yeah, my brother-in-law, his kids are younger than mine and really loved this, the two movies, Home Alone and Home Alone 2. So, I mean, I think they still hold up. Going back and rewatching it, I feel like they still hold up. That this one at least still holds up. I wish there was more of the, I say this all the time. I wish there were more of the special features on here. But as far as the movie goes, I do think it stands the test of time. It had an amazing group of people that put this together with Chris Columbus and John Hughes and John Williams, and I mean, this is a great family movie. So I would definitely recommend this to anybody, and especially here at the holidays when you're looking for movies to watch. This is a good one to watch. We've done a ton of reviews, and I know Rosita said something like really Babes in Toyland. Katie, who used to work with us and has been on the show several times, is a huge fan of that movie, and that's her brink. So that's why we're going to be doing that movie. And kind of mixing it up. We do some animation, we do some throwbacks, we do some currents, just to mix things up. So I think it'll be a good one. But Rosita, thank thank you so much for the super chat, $20 because I laughed so hard. Yes, and yes, Desi, it was sweet. So thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you so much. Thank you guys for watching. But yeah, I would recommend this one and add it to the holiday lineup. You know, for me, the holidays are, you know, it starts off with Nightmare Before Christmas right after Halloween. And then, you know, and we've reviewed that one. And I always have to do Prep and Landing, and Patrick and I reviewed that one. I think Noel's a kind of a fun holiday one that we've also reviewed. Eric and I did that one. So there are a lot of these reviews if you go back into our catalog of reviews that we've already done. So, you know, we're keep trying to kind of bring different things to you as we go through. I swear, if Die Hard was on Disney Plus, I would probably have picked that as a Christmas movie, but it is not. So, so watch. Tony Stank 1138 says, "Would you recommend Bushwhacked?" No, no, I would not.
I've never even heard of that one.
It was a Daniel Stern movie. So,
oh, okay. Well,
Daniel Stern,
hi Tony, aka Deke.
I knew from the.
He came last week, so it was nice to meet him in person.
Okay, very cool. Daniel Stern was the voice, the narrator of the Wonder Years, which is kind of where I knew him from around this time. So
I loved that show.
Yeah, but it's, you know, this was great. There are a lot of great holiday movies out there, especially on Disney Plus. If you go look them up, but we're gonna, you know, review a few more. So hopefully you guys will join us. Yes, we have this. Thank you for mentioning the sweater vest. By the way, there's some really cool stuff.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yes, happy Hanukkah.
All who celebrate.
There's some great holiday stuff on carouselproducts.com too. So check out the Gertie shirt because
I need that Santa Gertie shirt.
We didn't make a ton but we did make a good amount of them. So hopefully everybody can get one. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next Tuesday night. Desi, thank you so much for reviewing this one with me. I appreciate it. Always nice having you on here. And you guys have a great week. We'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.
See you later, you filthy animals.